Hey guys, this is Dan Seifert from MobileBurn.com, and right now I'm taking a quick look at the Motorola Titanium for Sprint. The Titanium is a push-to-talk iDEN feature, iDEN smartphone for Sprint's Nextel brand, as you can see there. It is an Android smartphone, but it's not the first iDEN Android smartphone. That title goes to the Motorola i1 from a little while back, but this is the first one that we're aware of that has a full QWERTY keyboard on it. So taking a quick look at the hardware here, you've got a 3.1-inch screen with HVGA resolution, so it's 320 by 480 pixels of resolution. Above that, you've got your earpiece, and next to that, you can't really see it here, but hidden under the bezel there is a notification light. Below that, you've got 5 buttons in kind of a unique order there. You've got a call button, menu button, home button, back button, and an end button, as well as your power keys there. And then, of course, you've got the QWERTY keyboard that you can see here that has nice scalloped keys, nice clicky feel on them, raised but easy to type and quickly bang out messages on. If you're looking for your search key is below the keyboard there, so you do still have the search function. And then as you can see below the keyboard, we've got this speaker grill, so that works for the push-to-talk walkie-talkie services that come with Nextel phones, so there's your speaker for that. Taking a look at the side of the phone is fairly thick. It's about 13.2 millimeters thick, and it weighs about 147 grams or so. So it's not the lightest phone, but it's not too heavy either. It really doesn't feel that bad in your hand. On this side of the phone, you've got two things. You've got your dedicated camera key, which is nice to see, and then underneath this flap here, you've got a micro USB charging and syncing port. Looking at the bottom of the phone, you got nothing to remark about there, just your pry cover for the back battery door, and you've got the lanyard loop there. The other side of the phone features a volume rocker and your direct connect push-to-talk key there for your walkie-talkie conversations. And then up top in the middle there's a flap to cover up the headphone jack, which is a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack there, and Sprint and Motorola do include a set of earbuds with the Titanium in the box, which is nice to see as well. You got your lock key here, and then a mute button at the top, which is you don't see too often on Android phones, so that's pretty cool. Taking a look at the back of the device, you've got this nice soft touch rubber coating all along the back of it, which provides a nice grip in your hand. There's a 5 megapixel camera, autofocus with a flash, but it does not record HD video. And that's about it. You got a Motorola logo there and a Nextel logo at the top, and that's about it as far as the back of the device. If we pry open the battery cover here, let's see if I can get it open. There we go. Underneath we've got a 2 gigabyte SD card that comes included with the Titanium. Supports up to 32 gigabyte cards in that slot there. You've got your Nextel SIM card, and then you have a really large 1820 milliamp hour battery. But despite its giant size, Sprint only says that you're going to get about 4.6 hours of talk time with this guy. So it's a big battery, but not nearly as much talk time as we would hope to see from a battery of that size. And that's about it as far as the back of the device goes. As you can see, the battery cover kind of encases the whole phone from the back, and that helps give this the Titanium its military spec rating for dust and exposure and vibration impact exposure, as well as high and low temperatures. It doesn't have that rating for water exposure, but I imagine that if it did get splashed once in a while, it'd probably be just fine. But it is considered a military spec rugged phone. Taking a look at the software on the Titanium is running Android 2.1 Eclair, which is honestly a bit disappointing and surprising to see for a phone that's released more than halfway through 2011, when we've had both Android 2.2 Froyo and the Android 2.3 Gingerbread available for quite some time now. But that's what it is. It is Android 2.1 Eclair, and because of that, you don't get all of the benefits that you get with the later versions of Android. So it's not quite as fast as if it were running Android 2.2 or 2.3. And it also doesn't have access to the latest versions of the Google apps like Gmail and voice search and stuff like that. You still have Gmail on here, but it doesn't have the latest and greatest features that the newer versions have. As you can see, it's running a custom interface by Motorola. They used to call this MotoBlur, but they're not calling it that anymore. It's just Motorola's interface. And you can see we've got our app tray here. And Sprint has included a number of applications pre-installed on the device itself. There's Facebook, Twitter is included on here, My Sign is a kind of a cool app for creating custom gestures to do different activities and launch different applications. You got a quick office application, your standard Sprint football and Sprint zones, and Telnav GPS navigator. You also have a voice control system from Nuance, which kind of helps make up for the lack of Android 2.2. Now, this is powered by a 500 megahertz processor. It's definitely not the fastest phone on the world. As you can see, it's stuttering a little bit, moving from home screen to home screen. Opening up the app tray isn't exactly as smooth as we see on most modern smartphones nowadays. The dialer here has been skinned by Motorola with its custom interface that we've seen on other recent Motorola smartphones, as has the contact interface. The messaging application offers threaded messaging, if it will load here. There we go. So you got your conversations in a threaded view. It's not too different from the stock Android messaging client, but it does have Motorola's color scheme there. If you look at the email application, pretty standard email application. You can manage more than one message at a time, as you can see there. You can also view formatted text, so you got different colored fonts and sizes and such. It does not feature pinch to zoom though, so you can't zoom in on the text like we see with most email applications on Android phones nowadays. If we take a look at the browser is pretty basic. It's not too much different than a stock Android browser. It's definitely not the fastest though. The processor, as you can see, slows it down considerably when you're trying to scroll, and pinching to zoom is very laggy. If it'll go, there we go. You can also double tap to zoom. But because the system is so slow to respond, that can be rather frustrating to use. You do see our videos embedded in here, but it does not support Flash because Android 2.1 does not support or have access to Flash. So this video here is actually playing in HTML5, assuming it will play. And we are connected to a Wi-Fi connection here, but as you can see, the video is quite laggy and choppy. Not exactly smooth video playback there. You do have access to multiple tabs. If you open up the menu here, you can go to your Windows section, and you can access various tabs that you might have open, and you can manage them and close them off as you see fit. Now, because the Titanium is an iDen phone, its data connection when not connected to a Wi-Fi network is extremely slow. Trying to use any data services on this while you're connected to a cellular network is kind of a painful experience. So if you're going to do any sort of internet activity, it's strongly recommended that you connect to a Wi-Fi network. These shortcuts here at the bottom are not actually apps. Those are just shortcuts to the respective mobile web pages for ESPN, CNN, and Weather Channel there. And then you got your Facebook and Twitter app icons and YouTube there as well. Of course, since it is a Nextel phone, it features Direct Connect, and you've got various ways of controlling that and accessing it. You can open it up with the button on the side here. We'll open up the Direct Connect function, and you can call your contacts through the walkie-talkie service right there. If you're in a conversation, this button will glow as well, which makes it a little bit easier to recognize that you're in the middle of a conversation there. Taking a look at the camera on the Titanium, we can open it by holding the camera key on the side here for a second, and then we'll open up the camera shooting interface. And the camera's 5 megapixels, and it does have autofocus, as you can see there. And you can snap pictures with the camera button on top, or you can use the on-screen camera shutter key here. If you hold down for a second, it will autofocus. Lift up and it will snap the picture. You can also zoom in on photos before you take them, but it is rather choppy and kind of difficult to do. It doesn't exactly zoom in smoothly. There is an option to switch to video, but as I said earlier, it does not record in HD, so you are going to be limited to a lower resolution video, but you can shoot a clip by starting with the button on the phone or on screen. Record your video, press again to stop. Then if we go to our gallery shortcut right there, we can view the video clip that we just recorded. It doesn't appear to record in any audio either. It does have this unique gallery here for viewing pictures, and you can view the picture larger, and you can pinch to zoom in. But as we saw with pinching to zoom on the web browser, it's certainly not very smooth. It's fairly choppy. So there you have it. It's the Motorola Titanium for Sprint. This is going to appeal to business users who require that walkie-talkie direct connect feature and are using the iDEN network. It does offer a lot of the functions of Android, but it's running a pretty old and outdated version of Android at this point, and the slow processor really kind of holds it back from being a great day-to-day performer. In addition, the iDEN network provides very low data speeds, or very slow data speeds, which can be quite frustrating when you're trying to navigate any sort of internet websites or use any data services on the phone itself. It does have a very solid keyboard. I do like the keyboard a lot. It's very similar to the keyboard on the Expert or other Motorola phones with a portrait-style QWERTY keyboard here. And it does have a nice rugged design as well with those military specifications. But for the most average user, they probably are going to pass by on this one, but the business user should be able to find some use out of it. You can pick this up from Sprint right now for about $149.99. This is Dan Seifert from MobileBurn.com. Thanks, guys.